Isaac Asimov once said, things do change. The only question is, since things are deteriorating so quickly, will society and human habits change quickly enough? As we venture into the heart of the digital age, we must learn to confront these profound changes brought on by automation and artificial intelligence. Namely, we must perform a critical analysis on the now seemingly questionable importance of the human resource itself. Automation is often perceived as a disruptive evil in countless industries. After all, it displaces hardworking individuals from their jobs. Nevertheless, machines have been doing so for centuries. When the spinning jenny was first invented, it put weavers out of business. Or when the internet came to rise, post offices and travel agencies were permanently reformed. Job disruption is a topic that loomed large across discussions regarding automation and AI. In fact, one thing I'm sure a lot of students can relate to is being urged to pursue scientific fields because people would claim that everything else is just going to be obsolete or run by machines. This may have seemed like a distant, abstract science fiction concept, but over the years, it slowly grew into reality. As a student, I noticed industries which I once thought were impervious to automation slowly being overrun. At this very moment, there is a screen actors and writers strike going on in Hollywood right now over the use of artificial intelligence in writing screenplays and AI generated voice acting. So, ironically, the tool that was supposed to make time for artistic expression by taking over all of humanity's menial tasks is starting over by infiltrating artistic fields. Some of the most accessible forms of AI out there today are associated with AI generated art or AI generated creative writing. Digital tools had already made their way into my life with devices such as ChatGPT seemingly automating processes of critical thinking and creativity for countless students. The seemingly omnipresent nature of technology cannot be understated. However, let's take a small example of customer service as a case study. This is an industry famous for its human touch. However, we have grown accustomed to the traditional formula of customer service over the years, that being call centers. Call centers perfectly embody all of human flaws because they are prone to burnout, frustration, and they can only handle so many calls at one time. Corporations such as Starbucks, Spotify, or in this case, Lufthansa, have incorporated AI generated chatbots in order to replace call centers. Now, these chatbots are a double edged sword. They come with their fair share of limitations and advantages. Namely, they make the whole process cheaper for the corporation. After all, it's much easier to have a simple machine rather than employ hundreds of telemarketers. However, they are run on tightly knit scripts and they only have a limited number of prompts, as we see here, meaning they are unable to appeal, adapt, or reason with multiple consumers. Now, automation certainly displaces jobs. It also has great potential for job creation. So, advances in self driving cars, for instance, have put truckers and delivery services at risk. However, they also create jobs for engineers and manufacturers. Incorporating machines in industrial sectors can increase output, which leads to greater profits, which in turn leads to greater job opportunities. Now, this may seem like an idealized hyperfiction. However, history has shown this to be a pretty common occurrence. When the printing press was first invented by Gutenberg, it put scribes out of business. However, it also called for technicians and skilled laborers, therefore increasing the quality and education of the workforce. In fact, we see traces of this transformation happening today. Some of the most in demand jobs right now are associated with IT and digital services. So the question is, how do we advance the human resource? 30 years ago, a simple foundation in your degree would have been enough to land you a well paying job. However, at the current rate of technological transformation, that is simply not the case. Say you may have majored in marketing in college, but by the time you graduate, new social media channels have emerged. Or you may have gotten an economics degree, but the year you land up on the job market is the year where cryptocurrency and digital trading reform the economic landscape of the entire world. This is where the main takeaway of upskilling comes in. Upskilling is the process of learning additional skills in one's current field. In this case, the additional skills refer to the use of digital tools. This existing workforce needs to gain knowledge in order to accelerate adaptability and match the skill gap between man and machine. Tools for upskilling are greatly accessible with mediums such as YouTube, Udemy, edX being accessible to almost everybody. However, these tools are by no means a replacement for traditional education. They only serve to increase one's awareness and adaptability in their current field. In conclusion, the problem isn't so much a robot apocalypse, but a problem of retraining and creating a better class of worker to thrive in today's society. The future of work is a story of adaptation, innovation, and ethical responsibility, all done for the purpose of making the world a more human dwelling place. I thank you for your time.